Hello, my loves. Welcome into this reading. This reading is for you if this Scorpio lunar eclipse is happening in your first house, meaning your rising sign is Scorpio using the whole house system, or 14 degrees, 58 minutes of Scorpio shows up in your first house. Welcome in. If you haven't watched the introduction to this reading and you want to learn more about what it is we're talking about here, link is in the description and popping up on YouTube. So the houses in the Zodiac story represent where things happen in our lives. So this is your Scorpio house with the Scorpio energy here with the full moon highlighting this area of your life. So the first house deals with the self, the theme of the self. It's the house of the self, ruled by the first sign of the Zodiac, which is Aries. Deals with the area of our life involving our consciousness, involving our focus, our ego, our identity, and our appearance. So this is really how we show up in the world, how we appear to others. This is the area of our lives where our awareness of ourself really shows up. So with this full moon lunar eclipse, you're really experiencing a huge ping, I call it ping, a huge emphasis, focus on your identity, your sense of self. And we are going to be diving into this concept of freeing ourselves from the human condition and using the tools of the cards to get into an affirmation that'll help you and also help you understand how you can look at yourself differently, how you can change your focus, how you can reconcile your ego with this understanding of what the human condition is and how we can free ourselves from it. So if you haven't already, closed your eyes, taken a few deep breaths, and opened your heart to receive the guidance most aligned for you at this time, I invite you to do that. Remember, you can pause the video if you need more time. Okay. We're going to find out what card is here for you, what affirmation is here for you, and then we're going to have a chat about what guidance is coming through. Okay. Here is your card. Make it a little bit bigger. Here we go. There she is. Four of Cups. So let's get into your affirmation, and then we'll talk about how this impacts your sense of self and relate it back to the human condition content that I'm sharing with these eclipse readings. Okay. Yeah. I see the fullness and richness of my life. You can always screen pause so you can write that down. Yeah, this card is such a beautiful depiction of the energy that we're talking about here. She has 3 cups that are empty, and she's kind of looking wishfully at the emptiness of these cups, right? But there's another cup right there being handed to her. Can you see the hand handing it to her? Like somebody's offering it like this. And there's like a rainbow coming out of the fullness of this cup. And it's like she's so focused on what hasn't worked that she isn't seeing this beautiful opportunity. So that's why the affirmation is I see the richness and fullness of my life. I believe that's what it was. I see the fullness and richness of my life. Okay. Because she's not seeing it in this card. And this card is indicating that there's something that you're not seeing. So give me a second here to relate this to, no, let's first just relate it to yourself, okay? You're not, there's an indication with this card that there's something about your identity, something about your consciousness, your appearance that you're not seeing the benefit of, you're not seeing the value of, you're not allowing yourself to express the richness of you, the fullness of you. That's what it is. And so there's such a beautiful opportunity here with this lunar eclipse, which is going to last for 6 months. This lunar eclipse is inviting you into a deep, deep, beautiful transformation. Scorpio energy is all about transformation. And so you're transforming the way that you look at yourself. You're going from seeing all the things about yourself that you don't like, all the things about yourself that you wish were different, all the things about yourself that have been a burden to you in the past. And you're going to be focusing on the fourth cup, focusing on the opportunity, focusing on the rainbow of light, the gifts that you bring, the love that you have to offer, the amazing value of you showing up as yourself authentically in the world. So relating this back to the human condition, material, and content, there's such a deep shift that's happened for me as I've been understanding this material and content. And again, if you didn't hear me do the introduction, you may want to go watch that. So I give you a basis for what it is that we're talking about here. Or you could just watch the hour-long interview with Jeremy Griffith, talks about the human condition and what it is that he's discovered about the origin of our species, and how that new understanding explains where we've been as a species, what's created the human condition, and how we can free ourselves from it. So that's really the focus of this reading. You're freeing yourself from the human condition by no longer focusing on those 3 cups that aren't full, that haven't been serving you, that are just empty and done with, and focusing on this last cup that's being offered to you. It's almost like you could consider me offering you this cup, right? Offering you a different viewpoint of yourself. You can see it as your spirit guides doing that for you. You can see it as Jeremy Griffith doing that for you. But there's someone external to you offering you this shift in consciousness and perception. And so for me, when I've been understanding the human condition, content, material, it has really opened me up to understand myself on a deep, deep level. And so here's a few things for you to understand about yourself within the context of this material. You are worthy. You were born worthy. You are a loving, selfless, instinctual creature who has acted outside of that true instinctual nature in response to what has been going on around you. And as you begin to reconnect with your instinctual nature, the part of you that wants to act lovingly, cooperatively, selflessly for the good of the whole, you will see that your true self is going to shine, is going to come out of the shadows, is going to be revealed as you really tap into and understand the true origin of your soul and what it has been wanting your entire life. Now, this is harder for people who did not experience loving, nurturing containers in their childhood to really assimilate the information here. And if that's true for you, I just want you to know I feel you. I hear you, I see you, and I hold space for you and everything that contributed to your development in positive and negative ways. What we understand with the human condition, material, and content is that you as a soul came in totally worthy of receiving unconditional love. And when you didn't receive that unconditional love, you started to question whether or not you weren't receiving it because you weren't worthy. And there's been a part of you that's insisting that you are worthy, right? And that's been coming up against the part of you that says, yeah, but if I was worthy, I would have been loved better. I would have had a better environment as a kid. I would have not been punished the way that I was. I would have not been treated the way that I was. I would have not been whatever it is that you went through, right? So there's a deep there's a deep sense of self. There's a deep wounding about who you are as a person and why the story that you've told yourself about why you went through the childhood that you went through. That's what's being changed with this understanding. This is the house of consciousness. this material helps us to consciously understand ourselves on a completely different level. So you're understanding not only that you came into this world born worthy and you experience a severe trauma when you didn't encounter a world that was affirming that for you, but also it gives us more compassion and understanding for why our caregivers weren't able to offer that to us, because they came in completely worthy, completely innocent, completely desiring of affection and unconditional love and cooperation and collaboration, and they didn't experience it either. And so whatever it was that unfolded for you is essentially a byproduct of whatever it was that unfolded for them, and how they dealt with the lack of ideal nursery conditions that they were born into, that they suffered through, and the stories that they told themselves about their worth, about who they were as a person, what they had to offer, based on not getting this love, this affection that they instinctually knew. Remember, 10 million years our species developed in an environment that was all loving, nurturing, compassionate, and cooperative. And for the last 2 million years, as we've developed our intellect, we've had to walk away from that in order to sharpen the tool, so to speak, of our minds, of our ability to compare past results and future choices and make decisions out of experimentation and out of understanding. Now that we truly know that our souls are desiring of this love and this unconditional nurturing container for ourselves and for the children of our species at this point and the children of the future, we're going to change our identity, who we are, who we think we are, what it is we think we're here to do. You're really experiencing a huge shift in this energy, and you're affirming with this affirmation that you see the potential and richness of your life, because you're seeing a whole new way that you can contribute, a whole new way of looking at yourself, a whole new conscious understanding of who you are, and a whole different compassion that you can offer to those who contributed to your pain and suffering, because you can understand them from this perspective, from the understanding that their beautiful innocent souls came in and got completely destroyed as well, and so the destruction of their soul leaked out, and really polluted your environment that you grew up in. And now we can finally clear up those toxins. Like, those bowls are empty, right? Like, I see what happened in your past is kind of like these empty bowls, these stories that you've created about yourself, the past and the pain of not getting what you absolutely 100% deserve to get as a beautiful, innocent human being born into this life. And again, the treatment of those who should have provided that to you but couldn't, because it wasn't offered to them, and they didn't have this understanding, they didn't have this consciousness. We as a human species are up-leveling, are understanding things on a deeper level about who we really are, what our origins are, and that's going to change your sense of self this lunar phase. I'm going to leave it here. I'm trying to keep these videos relatively short, so let me know how this resonates. Let me know if you have questions. Enjoy this beautiful lunar eclipse, this new identity and sense of self that you're developing over these next 6 months. And as always, namaste. The universal light within me salutes and honors that universal light within you. Namaste.